read you a quote real quick before we go off the air?
Sure.
Because I know your issues with modern wrestling, but this has been sent around, and I don't know if you've seen it. It's a quote from Gedo, or Gedo. I don't know. I never know exactly how I'm supposed to pronounce it. Okay.
Gedo and Gedo.
Yeah. He, the booker from New Japan. This is a quote, apparently. After the IWE went off the air in Japan, it was replaced by World Pro Wrestling, which showed a lot of territorial stuff in America.
Yes.
That's what I was hooked on. Georgia in particular. Not necessarily the over-the-top cartoonish characters, but definitely the Midnight Express. Now, this was around the time of the first UWF in Japan. I hated it. No interest whatsoever. In fact, I pretty much only liked American wrestling. Compare all the kicks and the holds in the UWF to one bump by Bobby Eaton, and there was no contest for me.
I saw that this morning before we started taping. Somebody tweeted it, and I retweeted it. Yeah, and that was that World Pro Wrestling show. I still have some of the tapes that, because I've got all the Inoki and Baba TVs for all of the 80s and much of the 90s still on tape. But I would also get the World Pro Wrestling show tape and some of them I've disseminated out of the Midnight Express's matches, but it was great I would think for the Japanese fans. It was sort of like the Pro Wrestling This Week that Pedicino used to do of Japan, where Joe would show all of the different territories and top matches. They would do the same thing, and they would come, and that's the reason why that Midnight Rock and Roll match from April of '86 in Charlotte, where we set the sold out and set the gate record and closed circuited to Spartanburg and down the street to the Park Center. And it was so big. It was a house show, and it was on closed circuit because Charlotte was so hot. But that still exists on tape because Crockett never never aired it on television, but the World Pro Wrestling people were in. And they would go and they'd get main events from Dallas and from Mid-South and from Charlotte and from all these places, St. Louis. And it was just a great play. Japanese television wrestling in the 80s was the glory hole, so to speak, for the greatest matches in the world were all being aired in Japan. And I'm glad that he felt that way. But yeah, the World Pro Wrestling show was something I couldn't wait to get a hold of, because even if you got those territories TVs, you didn't get those main events because they didn't show the main events on TV. You had to pay to see them. Yeah, that show was fantastic.
Yeah. And
they were, especially 86, 87, they were in the Crockett territory a lot. And a lot of people would turn it up because they had Japanese deals. So if they knew that those tapes were going back, they'd really turn it up and or go in and politic about their finish, but I liked the fact that we were on in Japan. We never had any intention of going to Japan, but I liked the fact that we were on because I'd always loved Japanese wrestling on TV. But we never, tried to use that to get booked over there because we were never unbooked over here long enough for it to make sense.
January 1988. There it is.
There you have it.
There you have it.